Bindass is more than a television channel. Bindass is a youth brand. We would be wrong in calling ourselves a youth brand if we didn't understand who we were talking to firstly. And which is why it has always been imperative and it has always been the bedrock of our thought to validate what we think with what is actually out there. We also have believed that if I claim to be a youth brand and provide a service to other brands to use me to reach youth, then it is equally imperative that I give back, and I give back in terms of sharing knowledge, in terms of sharing insights, in terms of sharing experiences that I have acquired over the years of dealing with this very, very attractive demographic called youth, and more specifically youth in India. Why we partnered with this initiative is very clear. Here you have a very, very well-renowned global author who has seen it necessary to Indianize a global bestseller. So you've had huge management tomes being written by Peter Druckers and of the world, who put forth global, well, for want of a better word, marketing tenets. A lot of those marketing tenets we read when we were doing our MBA, and I still remember my first case study when I was doing my MBA in marketing was on Apple. At that point in time, the only apple we had in India was fruit. It was not available. You never heard of it. In the grey market it was available. And you always came out of that classroom and you question yourself saying that, what am I really, am I going to be able to use this? Does the learnings from this case study make sense? Because I'm going to go and join an Indian company and I'm going to have to eventually help sell a Coke at 5 rupees. That has changed a lot. Today, insights which brand managers and students of branding and marketing use have to be current, have to be relevant, have to be constantly refreshed. And this is one step in a lot of other things that we do to ensure that the knowledge and insights we get go back to that same user community who comes to Bindass and asks us, how do I get my brand message across to your audience better? With the entire initiative, it's not really a learning as much as a validation of what we always thought. It is amazing the amount of response we get. So I meet about 30 to 35 brands every quarter, and I talk to them and I share with them insights we garner through multiple researchers and multiple interactions that we do with young people. And they are always ready to hear and hungry for more, which just goes to show that there is not enough of sharing. And I think Bindass Open Source, which is what we call our Youth Insight initiative, is something which a lot of people have come to welcome. So I remember 7-8 months back when I first took it out in the market, there was always this perspective of, so what's the catch? And then over a period of time, they've come to know that there is no catch. And they've been a lot more open in sharing their learnings with us. And together, we sort of develop this far more robust understanding, which we go and share with other people. And they have no problem with it, So that has been a fabulous learning, that if you start sharing, people eventually overcome their primary inhibitions and are willing to open more, because everybody likes more knowledge. Everybody. There is no such thing as we know everything. Even till today, we just about scratched the surface. But it's a growing process. It's a snowball. So I think that's the positiveness with which the initiative is received is a great learning. Number two learning from generally, like I said, this initiative is that very often we have to work really hard to put our experiences and intuitive inputs on the back burner, because you are dealing with a completely different demographic. You are dealing with a section of the Indian population which has not had any of the experiences people of my generation have had. And if we ever try to transfer that, then that's a recipe for disaster. So it's essential to connect. It's essential. The stuff they have, the brands they have access to, the information they have access to, the technology which has become part of their lives, which we had to sit and learn, today has become is seamlessly integrated in their lives. For us, we still have to cross that. For them, they are already on that side. And if you do not come from that perspective of understanding that that nature of that audience, then you've missed 3/4 of the trick. From the book specifically, two things very, very strongly. Number one is there is a great leveler of information and technology have brought about this great leveler of aspiration. So, like I told someone else earlier on, when we did the David Guetta concert recently, no one ever asked who's David Guetta. Nobody. We had 15,000 kids in Delhi and same amount in Pune and Bangalore. Nobody asked me who's David Guetta, or or stuff like that. So the aspirations are very global, and but there is a core optimism with Indian youth, given the state of the economy, given the high growth expected from this country. This is where it's happening, and we have the world's youngest population, and that's only set to go, leagues ahead in the next 5 to 10 years. This book, the fact that it's been Indianized, shows that while you have a global leveler, the Indian youth is a different person at a very core level, and you need to understand that. So you cannot sit in New York, London, Paris and extrapolate global youth learnings here.
Yeah.
You have to have a separate strategy for India. We are not planning the marketing around selling books.
Yeah, sure.
We are planning the marketing around making Jeroen, Bindass and Generation Einstein a part of brand lexicon. People should know why we are calling it Generation Einstein, what are the characteristics of Generation Einstein, how it's relevant to them. Today's brand managers, today's strategists, today's marketing heads who want to address this young India must have every bit of information that they can gather, and well, I think a lot of it is here which will help them, and that's what will drive the spirit of it. So while we've not put the nuts and bolts completely in place, and which we will share with you as soon as we get a handle on it, the spirit is that. The spirit is to get it out there.